구독과 알림 설정하시면 아침마다 음악 편지를 받아보실 수 있어요. 구독 꼭 부탁드려요.
The first light came through the rain this morning, soft and gray, the way you used to like. I poured 2 cups before I remembered, and the second one grew cold beside the sill. 41 years I have woken to this hour, and every morning still I turn to find you there. The light came in without you again today. Quiet on the floor where your slippers used to be. I did not cry, I only watched it move, the way you watched it move so long ago. Your gray sweater is folded on the chair. I have not moved it since that Tuesday in May. The rain knows my hands are slower now, and waits a little longer at the glass. 41 years, and still I set the table wrong. 2 plates, 2 cups, the habit will not leave. The light came in without you again today. Quiet on the floor where your slippers used to be. I did not cry, I only watched it move, the way you watched it move so long ago. If you walked in this morning with the rain still on your coat, I would not ask you where you had been. I would only pour the coffee warm again, and we would watch the light together one more time. The light came in without you again today, but I felt your hand upon the windowsill. I did not cry, I only watched it move, and I whispered good morning, the way I always do. Good morning, my love. Good morning. The shirt is folded in the bottom drawer this morning. Pale blue cotton with a button I once sewed for you. I lifted it the way I lift a sleeping child, and the soap you used in '78 came faintly to me. I washed it once a year for the first long while, but the scent grew thinner each time, so I stopped. The shirt I could not wash again is folded soft and small, a blue square of a man I have been carrying through the years. I do not put it on, I do not give it away. Some kinds of love are kept the way the cedar keeps the wool. My grandson tried it on without me, knowing yesterday. Stood in the hallway mirror, and his shoulders were your shoulders. He did not see me in the doorway, with my hand against my mouth, and something 37 years asleep stood quietly awake. I never told him whose the shirt had been. Some gifts are only given when the giver is alone. The shirt I could not wash again is folded soft and small, a blue square of a man I have been carrying through the years. I do not put it on, I do not give it away. Some kinds of love are kept the way the cedar keeps the wool. If you saw our grandson standing in the hallway light, you would have laughed the small laugh you saved for tender things. You would have said his shoulders are the only kind worth keeping, and the morning would have folded around the three of us. The shirt I could not wash again has finally found a body, and the blue cotton breathes again the way it used to breathe. I will give it to him quietly on a rainy afternoon, and tell him whose the shoulders were before they were his own. Still soft, still warm. The old radio crackled awake on the kitchen shelf. The dial still set to the station you used to find. A man was reading the weather in a kind and tired voice, and for a moment I forgot which morning I was in. His voice was not your voice, I knew that right away, but something underneath it walked the same slow road. The static on the old radio sounds like you're breathing, soft and broken just before you used to speak my name. I do not change the station, I do not turn it off. used to hum along to songs you did not know, making up the words the way you made up half our lives. This morning a song came on that we had never heard, and I sang the wrong words back to it for you. 18 Octobers, the dial has stayed where you left it, and every rainy morning it finds you on its own. The static on the old radio sounds like you breathing, soft and broken, just before you used to speak my name. I do not change the station, I do not turn it off. Some kinds of weather only old radios can hold. If the signal ever clears and brings me back your voice, I will not answer, I will not break the small enchantment. I will only sit beside the radio with both my hands and let the song you never knew become a kind of prayer. The static on the old radio is the closest thing to you, a gentle interference between this world and the next. I do not change the station, I do not turn it off. Some kinds of love are only audible through rain. Still tuning, still here. The umbrella by the door is dusty now, black and folded just the way you left it. You said you would come back before the rain stopped. That was a Thursday in the autumn of '78. I told the neighbors I had given it away. That was the first small lie I learned to keep. The umbrella by the door is waiting still for a hand that learned another door to open. I do not move it, I do not throw it out. Some kinds of waiting are the only way to love. This morning the rain came soft against the eaves, and I stood beside it like I always do. I touched the handle where your fingers used to rest, and the wood was warm the way I needed it to be. 38 Octobers I have kept the same light, and every rainy morning it grows a little smaller. The umbrella by the door is waiting still for a hand that learns gentle and dry. The umbrella by the door is waiting still, not for you to take it, only to remember. I do not move it, I do not throw it out. It is the shape of the love I never put down. Still waiting, still soft, still here. The photograph fell from the wall this rainy morning. The nail had grown tired after 42 slow years. I knelt to lift the frame and something fluttered out, a folded yellow paper I had never seen before. Your handwriting, the slant I would have known anywhere. A letter you had written and never gave to me. The letter I found behind the photograph this morning was the answer to a question I stopped asking long ago. You did love me, you did love me all along. The rain had only kept the words from reaching home. You wrote it on the night before you walked away. You said you did not have courage to be loved. You said you hoped one day I would find another door. And the last line said, forgive me when you can. 42 years I built a quiet life believing you had simply stopped the way the rain sometimes stops. The letter I found behind the photograph this morning was the answer to a question I stopped asking long ago. You did love me, you did. The rain had only kept the words from reaching home. This morning has put me back inside the doorway of that night. Yes, I forgive you. Yes, I always would have. The rain is finally bringing your words home. I forgive you, my love. I forgive. The kettle whistled in the kitchen this morning. Same small sound it made when you were here. I let it sing a little longer than I should, because the silence after is the part I cannot bear. You always came in slippers, never quite awake, and took the handle from my hand before it burned. The kettle that whistled alone this morning is the loneliest sound a house can learn to make. I poured one cup, I sat down in your chair, and the steam rose up the way you used to rise. Our daughter has your hands, I noticed yesterday. The way she lifts a cup, the way you lifted yours. She did not know. I watched her from the door, and something 20 years asleep came soft awake. You always came in slippers, never quite awake, and the kitchen has not learned to be a kitchen since. The kettle that whistled alone this morning is the loneliest sound a house can learn to make. I poured one cup, I sat down in your chair, and the steam rose up the way you used to rise. If you can hear a kettle from wherever you are, know that I still set the second cup beside mine. I do not need an answer, I do not need a sign. I only need the morning to be a little less wide. The kettle that whistled alone this morning sounded almost like your voice across the years. I poured one cup, I sat down in your chair, and I drank it warm the way you taught me to. One cup, two hearts, still warm. You said you would come on the morning the rain began. I made the bread, I swept the front front step twice. The kettle sang, and I turned to face the door, and the door stayed closed, and the morning carried on. I told myself the bus was simply slow. I told myself 100 gentle things. The morning you did not come is still inside me, soft and folded like a letter never sent. I am not angry, I was never angry. I only wonder what you saw that day instead. 52 springs the rain has fallen since, and every rainy morning I am young again, standing by the window in a blue cotton dress, counting the cars that turn the corner and pass on. I told myself the bus was simply slow, and then I told myself I was a fool to wait. The morning you did not come is still inside me, soft and folded like a letter never sent. I am not angry, I was never angry. I only wonder what you saw that day instead. I lived a good life after that long morning. A husband, 2 children, a kitchen full of light. But sometimes on a rainy day I touch the window, and the girl in the blue dress turns to look at me. The morning you did not come is still inside me, but I have forgiven the door for staying closed. I am not angry, I was never angry. I only hope the rain was kind to you that day. Be well wherever you are. Be well. Be well. The rain began before the kettle did this morning. I poured the water slow, the way you taught my hand. 2 cups upon the windowsill, the small white one for you, and the steam rose up and waited for a mouth that did not come. I tell the neighbors I drink them both myself. That was the gentle lie I learned the spring you left. 2 cups by the morning window, one of them is yours, cooling in the gray light just the way you used to like it. I do not move the second cup, I do not pour it out. Some mornings are quiet love I learned to keep alone. you used has a small chip on the rim. I never had it mended, it would not feel the same. This morning my finger found it like a question, and the rain answered softly on the other side of glass. 29 springs, the second cup has waited here, and every rainy morning it feels a little warm. 2 cups by the morning window, one of them is yours, cooling in the gray light just the way you used to like it. I do not move the second cup, I do not pour it out. Some mornings are quiet, love, I learned to keep alone. If you stood behind me in the doorway one more time, I would not turn, I would not break the morning open. I would only lift the small white cup a little higher, so you could see I never stopped pouring. 2 cups by the morning window, one of them is yours, and the gray light holds them both the way I hold your name. I did not lie to the neighbors, I told the truth in pieces. Some mornings are quiet, love that learned to fill itself. 2 cups, still warm, still here. I lost a glove that morning long ago. Gray wool, a small flower I had stitched. The train pulled out before I found it. 52 Aprils with one bare hand in my pocket. The glove I lost the morning we parted has been the smallest weight I never set down. I did not know until this rainy morning that losing it was only half of what I lost. His sister sent his diary in the rain. He died last winter, far from where I live. I opened to the page from that same year, and in his careful hand I read these quiet words. The glove she never knew he kept was inside his coat the night that he carried it through 52 long winters. The smallest weight he also never set down. on two sides of one gray morning, holding the same small flower stitched in gray and neat. And neat. The bus stop is still there at the corner of the lane. The bench is painted green now, it used to be a faded white. I stood beside it this morning in a coat too large for me, and the rain came down the way it came down in the spring of '71. I was 19 then, and my umbrella was yellow. You said you would find me by the color from far away. The yellow umbrella at the bus stop is still open in my heart, bright against a gray that 55 Aprils have not faded. I am not waiting, I have not waited for a very long time, but the corner of the lane keeps a small lamp lit for you. A young girl stood beside me this morning with her phone. Her umbrella was clear plastic, and the rain shone through her hair. She did not see the 19-year-old standing in my coat, but for a moment we were waiting for the same kind of bus. I wanted to tell her, keep the yellow one, keep it bright, but some lessons only the rain itself can give. The yellow umbrella at the bus stop is still open in my heart, bright against a gray that 55 Aprils have not faded. I am not waiting, I have not waited for a very long time, but the corner of the lane keeps a small lamp lit for you. I married a good man 2 springs after that morning. He carried a black umbrella, steady and wide and kind. He never asked about the yellow one in the closet, but he made sure it stayed dry all the years of our lives. The yellow umbrella at the bus stop is finally folded down, and I am walking home in a black one, steady and wide and kind. I am not sad, I was never truly sad. I only wanted you to know the rain was beautiful without you. Bright yellow, soft black. I sat in the cafe paper and a pen and a cup of cold tea. I wrote 3 words and then my hand began to shake, and I could not finish what I needed you to know. I folded the paper, I folded it twice, and I kept it in a drawer for 50 years. The letter my hand could not finish that morning has been finishing itself in me ever since. I never sent the words, my dear, I never could, but the words have been writing themselves all my life. This morning I took the letter from the drawer, the paper soft and yellow from the years. I sat in the same cafe at the same window, and I read the 3 words I had written then. Steady now, the hand was old, and I knew what the trembling hand had meant. The letter my hand could not finish that morning has been finishing itself in me ever since. I never sent the words, my dear, I never could, but the words have been writing themselves all my life. I picked up the pen and I finished it today, 50 years late, my dear, with my old hand. I wrote the words the shaking hand had meant, and I put it in the envelope at last. Put it in the envelope at last. The letter my hand could not finish that morning is finished now beside the cold cup of tea. I never sent the words, my dear, I never will, but the letter, my love, is finally complete. The hand was shaking, the hand was young, and the old hand has carried what it meant. You said goodbye at the cafe door that evening, but just before it, you said one other word. You said it softly, almost to yourself, and I heard it as a question about the cold. I said yes, a little, and pulled my coat, and the door swung shut behind your back. you said that I did not hear was not about the cold, my dear, was it? 43 years to learn what you had asked, and 43 years to know my answer was no. Last spring I found your letter in the drawer, the one I had never opened. Do not ask me why. And the word you said that evening was there again, written this time in your steady, patient hand. You had asked me something, and I had answered the wrong question instead. The word you said that I did not hear was not about the cold, my dear, was it? 43 years to learn what you had asked, and 43 years to know my answer was no. I sat at the kitchen table holding the letter, and I said yes out loud to the empty room. 43 years too late, my dear, I know, but the word my love has finally found its yes. The word has finally found its yes. The word you said that I did not hear, I am hearing now in the silence of the room. 43